she saw a small red flower blooming at her doorstep, and was so frightened that she quickly pulled it up and buried it in the soil, because red was a color that could never appear in the village. Whenever anything red showed up in the village, a spiny monster would appear in the forest, enter the village, and slaughter all the villagers. To avoid angering the monster, the village chief had made an agreement with it. No villager was allowed to step foot into the forest. For many years, the villagers had obeyed this rule strictly, fearing that something bad might happen. But there was always one young man who didn't believe in the legend. One day, when no one was around, he foolishly stepped into the forbidden forest outside the village, and even picked a red flower from it. Little did he know that this act would bring disaster to the whole village. Sure enough, that very night, the terrible event began. The villager on night watch suddenly heard a rustling sound. To find out who had entered the villager carefully lifted a board and discovered a monster in red clothing. He was instantly terrified. He quickly rang the village's only alarm bell. As the bell echoed, the villagers went mad and rushed back home, hiding in their basements to avoid being found by the red monster. But one blind woman wouldn't close her door because her boyfriend hadn't come home yet. Just when it seemed too late, her boyfriend arrived in the nick of time, and they quickly hid in the basement, relieved for a moment. But the sound of the monster kicking doors kept them on edge, fearing it would burst in any second. The villagers stayed in the basement all night, and by morning, they found many houses had red paint smeared on their doors. Clearly the monster would return to attack them. To calm the monster's wrath, the village chief called an urgent meeting and held a grand feast. Villagers donned yellow robes and sacrificed a large piece of fine pork, placing it on the village's sacrificial stone, hoping to gain the monster's forgiveness. But to their surprise, the monster wasn't fooled. Late that night, a horrific scream echoed through the air. Everyone was immediately startled. Rushing outside to see what had happened, they found several livestock dead in the grass. To prevent another visit from the monster, the villagers rushed back to their homes and hid again. But the blind woman went outside once more because her boyfriend was waiting for her at the door. Her boyfriend had decided to stay there all night for her safety. And it was this gesture that deeply touched the blind woman, who then decided they would get married in a few days. Little did they know, their actions had been seen by a pair of eyes not far away.